The whole idea behind this is we've known Nick, we've known Casey, we've known these guys for a long time, and we kind of got brought in to do some restorative work for them in the strongman community. But all of this stuff applies to anything, whether it's strongman, strength, any explosive work you want to do. And Dave and I work exclusively with your brain. So we're going to be doing things that are going to be neurologically based today. So we're going to ask you to do something. You're going to test a range of motion. You're going to test an exercise, or you're going to test like a strength output. Then I'm going to give you 1 to 4 neurological drills to attempt. And you're going to immediately tell me, I got better, there was no change, or I actually got a little bit worse. And the reason why we're doing that is to find out if there's stuff that's happening to you that's underlying, that is kind of inhibiting you from reaching the next level, or inhibiting you from reaching your max performance, or causing you pain unnecessarily. Everything today is specific to you, but there's some general terms that should work for everyone. But if it doesn't work for you, speak up, and then we'll be a little more direct with what works for specifically you, and we'll make notes.
So there's a lot of us, and we want to make sure that we make this as individualized as possible. So if there's anything that you guys are thinking about in your head that's a pain, or there's a lack of performance in one of your events, or if there's a bilateral difference from one side to the other with either a press or a pull, and you want to let us kind of run through the gamut of possibilities that could make it better, think about that right now, because we'd like to get everybody in front of us so we can work on everybody.
So the only thing this doesn't fix is lower back tightness, shoulder tightness, knee pain, elbow pain, and grip strength. So I want to support Nick because he has a lot of great ideas. He's a master programmer, and I know there are some things that have been like, ooh, I don't want to try this because of my back, or I don't want to try this because of my knee, and we got to get around it. So we got to figure out a way to not work like to something less powerful. We got to work through it and stay strong the whole time. And there's reasons why you're hurt, and there's reasons why you feel pain, but it doesn't always mean that there's something broken. It could mean that the relationship between you and your brain needs to be repaired, and that's it. The 3 pillars of your performance and what we're going to focus on today is your vision, your vestibular system, your inner ear, and your proprioceptive system, which is your body. So you're probably all very aware of how to move your body and move it intentionally, but I want to go to some deeper systems like what your eyes are doing when you're lifting and what your inner ear is perceiving when you're moving. And if we can kind of dial those 2 systems in before, I basically consider it permission to perform. So sometimes your eyes are lying to you, sometimes your inner ear is a little off balance and you don't know it, and once you can find out that you do know it, things start to change immediately. And that's how we're going to approach these things. We're going to go through some stuff about your eyes, we're going to go through stuff about your inner ear, and then we're going to teach how to move your body and why that's good for you. Secondarily, I'm going to show you how to integrate all 3 systems into your lifting so that you can voluntarily be stronger immediately. And that's what we're after. Everybody wants to be stronger, everybody wants to be in less pain. That's why we're all here. So we'll skip the stuff that's very clinical and we'll go right into the why of it. But first and foremost, we got to test. So I want to do an example of how your eyes can actually change your body immediately. Basically, you have reflexes that are driven by your eyeballs. So if your eyes go up, it creates more extension through your whole body. Hip extension, knee extension, tricep extension, all these joint extensions like tricep press down, leg extension, all that good stuff. So he's the master of flexion and extension. We're the masters of how to amplify it. So what I want everybody to do is, no matter how crappy your shoulder mobility is, I want everybody to look straight ahead, and I want you to lift your arms up like this and try to drive them back and go to your end range voluntarily, okay?
Your head is neutral, guys, and your eyes are straight ahead.
So,
go as far back as you can.
Understand where your end ranges are, right? So that's your end range of mobility. This is where I end. Now, without moving your head, just look straight down with your eyes and then see if you can push your arms back further. And relax. Okay. Did anybody's arms go further?
We're going to do testing throughout this. So showing of hands will either be first group, who was better, who stayed the same, who got worse. Okay. Nobody got worse.
Nobody got worse. So you get mixed reviews, but you realize that there are reflexes with eye position that could either upregulate your flexion or extension. So we're going to do the other test. Same, better, worse is our only 3 answers today. So if you actually feel like nothing changed, that's an answer where, okay, nothing happened. Or if it gets an immediate improvement or less strength, or less restriction, that's an improvement. And if it actually is like, ooh, that actually hurt when I did that, that's I got worse. So the second test is going to be extension. So if we're gonna go into shoulder extension back like this, so everybody's just gonna be nice and normal, and then head neutral, and then drive your arms back as far as you can voluntarily. Yeah. And then, without moving your head, look at the ceiling with your eyes and see if you can keep driving your arms back.
So eyes go up without the head moving. See if you can go farther.
And relax. Okay. Whose arms went further? Okay. Better on.
Same?
Okay.
Who got worse?
All right.
Okay.
So you got worse. So what we're showing you is that everybody is slightly different, but we're here to deduce why. And you're realizing that even with something as simple as just moving your arm, how can that parlay into things like a deadlift, a squat, or areas where you get stuck on a lift? So if you need more extension, if you're saying you need to be more, more upright, or a postural thing, these are important factors to consider. And you might be looking in the wrong direction rather than being weak. The other portion of this, and that's kind of the very brief overview on vision, the other thing we want to work on is your equilibrium, which is your inner ear, and how you relate to gravity all the time. So some of you are like, my right arm feels weak, I feel like I'm pulling to the left, I'm shifting, it's my SI, I swear, it's my lower back. I'm gonna find out whether or not your relationship with gravity is even. I'm gonna find out what your relationship to gravity is without your eyes. So I want everybody to put their feet together, and I want you to stand up tall, put your arms at your sides, and then I want you to close your eyes and just see if your body sways around. And relax. Okay. So, did you notice that you were less stable with your eyes open? Okay. Did you notice you have a bias to one side? Or were you going back and forth? Okay. So imagine this, right? You don't feel that when your eyes are open. But your relationship to your inner ear, that is happening all the time. So your eyes might actually be working harder to keep you balanced than they should.
Which might help you understand on the top of the log when it's on your chest, when your head comes back. Some people feel a little dizzy, obviously because the weight's on your chest too, but at the same time, some people don't feel the same drive because of the inner ear now having to sit in a different position. So what we're going to try to do is make sure that people feel comfortable. And if your eyes are closing and you don't feel comfortable, imagine putting your head in a position that it doesn't feel comfortable. How are you supposed to be able to find the power to send the signal to drive the weight up?
So watch this. Go back to your original test with your feet together, and then your eyes will be closed, and when I say go, I want you to tilt your head back quickly. And go. With your eyes closed, sorry. And see if that changes your perception of balance and your body in space.
And good, guys.
And relax. So, does anybody feel like they were less stable or got a different response with that? Okay. So that's what we're going to deduce with some of this early stuff to find out why do I hate kettlebell swings? Why do I hate burpees? Is it because I'm out of shape? Maybe. Is it because when my head transitions from down to up quickly, it starts to threaten my brain and threaten my nervous system because it doesn't feel balanced? And then you can get fatigue is kind of an emotional response to threat. So some of you are endurance-based athletes too, and we can use this type of stuff to calibrate you better. Okay, so that's kind of how we're going to overview on vestibular work before we start just ripping through everybody. Then, proprioception, your body in space. We're all pretty aware that if I lift my arm up, I have a general perception of where it is. But we're going to focus on the joint mobilizations for everybody because you can manually manipulate muscle all day, but if the relationship to the joint it's attached to or inserted into is unmapped, you're going to have some tension. So basically, if your brain doesn't trust what's going on at your elbow, it might make your forearm tight to keep it stable. It might make your bicep tight to stop it from moving unnecessarily. So I normally use ankles as the easiest way to discern this. So we'll try an ankle test, and I'm going to muscle test each one of your psoas and glute mediuses too. So we'll find out whether or not that's something that we're going to work on.
Do range of motion test?
Yeah. So let's do an easy range of motion test. Everybody do a forward fold with their legs locked.
Together, guys. Legs are going to be locked. We're going to judge how far down we get. So we want to make sure that we're using our fingers to determine how far we get down on our shin or our toes. So we're going to do a forward fold. You can let your back round. We'll come on down. Let our hands come down and see how far down we can get to the ground. And then we'll come back up. Okay. 2 more times just to make sure. Back down. Assess how far down you get. Remember the spot. Back up. One more.
So we want to make sure that these repeat tests aren't like, I'm just getting warmed up.
And good. Okay, now Chris is going to run you through a drill.
So all we're going to worry about is laterally tilting one of our ankles. So I don't want you to think about rocking all your weight onto it like this. I want to see if you actually have enough control of your ankle to laterally tilt it like you're opening a book and then slowly place it back down. So we'll keep our heads up. We don't need to.
We're doing only one, guys.
So just everybody do your right ankle. Fair?
Your right ankle.
Everybody do your right ankle 8 times, nice and neat. Okay? And just kind of feel the opening and the closing at the ankle.
And pull from the bone in the heel. You can put a little pressure into the heel and
Yeah.
pull across.
Yeah, have a bias towards the back of the foot slightly. And then just open, close, open, close, open, close. Once you get about 6 to 8, I want you to retest your hamstrings and see if anything changes.
Back to your forward fold. All right. Okay, so coming on up. Who got better? Okay, good. A lot of who got same? All right. Who was worse?
Okay.
Cool.
So imagine if the relationship between your ankle and your brain is as valuable to create flexibility as stretching. So imagine safety here and education at this movement can give you immediate permission to move. So we might be overdoing it with a lot of static movement and underdoing it with a lot of small joint mobilizations. And the whole point of today is to find out which joint is bothering you and how to mobilize it properly and educate it so that you're not a slave to it anymore.
So all we're doing is just increasing the signal. So because we're remapping the ankle to the brain, the signal from where we press through the ground to the brain is getting a better connection, which for you guys, what you care about is better performance. So all we're doing is increasing the Wi-Fi connection from 3G to 5G, unless you're a 5G conspirator.
Yeah.
And then that's a whole other conversation.
4G, sorry, 4G, max 4G. So the basis of today, and this is how it's going to start to evolve, is do I know what my joints are doing? Am I looking where I'm supposed to be looking? And am I completely in equilibrium with all of my movements? And if I am, you basically have this trifecta of I'm good with my eyes, I'm good with my inner ear relationship, and my joints know that I'm not going to harm them. So I should be manually overriding all of this built-in inhibition. So you didn't get any more flexible. You actually just got less inhibited with reaching for your feet. So I look at flexibility as an act of strength. So when you aren't aware of what's going on here, sometimes your brain will just kill the power of you being able to flex forward. And it uses your hamstrings or your lower back to stop you from flexing forward. And that's all you have to start thinking about with your brain is, it's always asking, is this safe? If you give it details, you get granted permission. If you're kind of shady about your ankle, your brain goes, well, watch this. You're not going to get much out of me. And your brain's in charge, unfortunately. So you can say, I'm going to do this no matter what, but sometimes the brain has just got other ideas. So with that said, I think we should start doing some more fun stuff that's going to be like immediate, like assimilations. And then we're going to show you how to integrate. There's going to be ways for you to use neurological training in your actual training. So none of this is a replacement. This is just to be sprinkled on top of your already solid workouts. Casey's extremely large and very strong, so we're going to make it more fun for him. So let's go feet together. And let's see how much T-spine extension you can get over my fingers.
What do I do?
Just lean back and tilt your head back.
Try not to use the hips. So from there.
There we go.
There you go.
And relax. So you feel the effort in that.
Oh yeah.
Turn your head to the right and turn your head to the left as far as you can.
Okay, mark that with your eyes. That's how far you can get. So just to make sure.
Okay, so we're going to use something that you guys are going to have fun with. It's called the star chart. Basically, this is going to use your eyes. You got to see where this star is on the chart. It's either going to be on the left, the right, or the center of the line. And it's going to make you decide what to do about it. So you're going to be holding those dumbbells. If the star is on the left side, you're going to do a curl to overhead press with your left arm. If the star is in the middle of the line, you're going to do a curl to press with both arms. If it's on the right, right. Now the game is, we'll set a timer. Let's say, let's do a minute. You're strong.
All right.
Let's see how many he can get through in a minute without making any mistakes.
Okay, I didn't take pre-workout, so.
It's okay. This is the pre-workout. So this is an example of how we're going to turn this into a workout and not a boring stretch session. Fair? Okay. On your mark, get set, go. Now, since he's an athlete, I'm going to mess with his extension, and I'm going to make him work like he'd be making decisions on the field, or in a competition where he'd have somebody right next to him, where he'd need his eyes. I'm integrating his vision, his inner ear, and his body for performance purposes. How are we looking on time?
Yeah, the case, keep moving. And time.
Nice. How many did you do?
I got all the way to. Was I supposed to count them?
No.
No, I mean just how far did you get?
I was say I can't do that.
Yeah. So you got all the way to there.
I got to that one.
Okay.
Okay, great. So what this does is you're not thinking about that, but that's 30 decisions you just had to make about curl to press, what am I looking at, and how do I decide what to do about it very quickly. So with that being said, didn't feel that difficult because you're just more invested in this. Let's see if it does anything to your T-spine mobility, and you tell me. And relax.
I don't know.
And that's an answer. But the whole point of this is to find out whether or not this is stuff that you're going to immediately integrate or not. So there is no emotion with today.
No, to the left. Same, better, worse on those?
Same.
Okay.
Same. Okay.
Yeah. So the cool thing is it's just always information for us to create a better understanding of what's happening. And so if it's same or it's worse, it's actually good information for Chris and I. I know that everybody always wants the one that makes them better. We all do because we're performance athletes, but at the same time, the stuff that we need to work on, the stuff that makes us worse or is the same, could be the rehabilitation stuff that we need to really spend time with.
I
that
feel
makes us better.
my nervous system though firing. Like I feel ready to go. That makes sense.
Yeah.
More alert than I was.
We could have chosen a different test and maybe seen that.
All right, let's do this group.
All right, they got a chart. So.
Oh, you got a chart?
Yeah, I brought them a chart. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna stand right here.
We'll test the flexibility.
Test the flexibility.
I'm doing it?
No, I'll have you.
I don't want to do it.
You're gonna be with them. So stand here for me. And what I want you guys to do is let's just range of motion. We're gonna come on down. Nice. Then we're gonna go feet together. Hands out in front of us. And then what we're gonna do is without hitting the partner, we're all gonna turn to the right. See how far you can go. Then all turn to the left. See how far you can go without hitting your partner. And good. Now just test shoulder real quick. Internal external rotation at the elbow. See how far back you can get. Any pulling, any popping, any twinging, pay attention. Then the opposing side.
So your nervous system upregulation is how you prime for strength. This is a very easy way to integrate this into a warm-up, or it could become a very easy accessory exercise for endurance. So you could say right lunge, left lunge, squat.
Got it.
Right push-up, left push-up, burpee.
Is there a reason why I feel more alert now?
Well-
Like it feels like I just took
Yeah.
pre-workout.
Well, because your eyes engage your nervous system very quickly. You had to make a lot of decisions. And the processing speed of which you make this decision to create an action is how we actually integrate function. So your brain needs to go, you're running up on the sandbag. I see it, there's my depth. I can grab it, turn, have my target, and it's a big warm up for the eyes, and the eyes going back and forth fires your inner ear, which actually makes you immediately more powerful. So a lot of this stuff is just free drugs to get everybody going, and a lot of this stuff is painkillers. So when your nervous system goes up, pain goes down, and everybody's happy. Yeah. Now we use stuff like this where it's quicker, but somebody like you who has so much strength, you need to be based. You need to have a base of this because that wouldn't register for you. So like that would register for them. as a high level strength athlete, it would be like fucking dumbbell shrugs, or it would be fucking like, and boxers. This is mitt work.
Right.
This is why, you need to have load. For someone like you, you need load for this.
It's because we were talking about the program that he's running on, under 50%. I don't feel enough. It's very,
Yeah, you need an arousal.
I know what you're saying, for sure. I'm sure there's some that
Fun ways to integrate vision vestibular work. Now, let's test actual muscles. So I want to show somebody here, and I'm going to instruct you guys on how to do this. So how many of you are comfortable with manual manipulation? Everybody's comfortable with that? Okay. I want to do a test for, I'm gonna do this with everybody, but I want to use this as an example before we start just going right down the line, and everybody's going to watch while we do a quick assessment and a fix. So anybody with low back? All right, well all right, actually let's try you. So let's have you lay flat on the ground. Yeah, we don't need it. Lay on your back. So basically what we're going to have is I'm going to show you guys how to do these additional range of motion tests, but I want to do muscle testing first to find out whether or not, no matter how strong you are, your brain will create reflexes that will protect you and just deregulate your strength. So
start thinking about how this will apply to an upcoming event where you're having to sit in a car for 6 hours to get to the event or a plane ride.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that throws off everything. So we're here to help at least give you a little cheat sheet during that time.
So name of the game is going to be, how do I make sure this athlete is actually firing through our primary muscles? Everybody knows what a psoas is, right? Everybody knows what the outside of your glute medius feels like, okay? So ow, right? So I'm going to do a very simple muscle test just to see whether or not these muscles are threatened by his brain. So basically what's going to happen is I'm going to test out your hip flexion. So you probably have history with this if you're a high-level athlete. Do you have one that's worse than the other that you think of?
This is worse.
Okay, so let's say this one's worse. So the whole idea is do no harm, but you want to be able to find out whether or not I can make this guy stronger without actually doing anything to this. So I'm going to do a Psoas test on him. So basically I'm going to lock his leg out. I'm going to externally rotate it, right? And I'm going to ask him to voluntarily kick towards the ceiling. So the goal is I'm going to apply pressure right away. He should be able to stop me dead in his tracks, like frozen, like done, nothing, okay? Ready, set, go. And he can't. So it yields, right? Now I'm going to test against the other side because I want to make sure if he's just not weak. Yeah.
Insert peanut gallery, that's okay.
So you could just, I could just be so strong. But no, so we're going to externally rotate this one, right? Now he's going to kick towards the ceiling on this one, go. And this one yields too. Which one was harder? Which one did you feel weaker on? You feel weaker on right. Okay, so we're going to go to right. Now, I'm not in love with this one, but that one was definitely the weaker one. So how would that create pelvic instability with somebody? Easily. If you don't have hip flexion, you can't hit the bottom of a squat. You can't do a lot of things. So this muscle is controlled and informed by a little joint right down here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to move his ankle 7 times. And I'm going to see if it makes his hip stronger. Fair? Okay. So I'm going to hold under here. I'm just basically telling his brain, let's find out what's going on here. Do you have any history with this ankle?
No.
Okay, well, let's find out. So I'm just opening it, and I'm creating space. This isn't chiropractic work. This is just mobilization of a small joint. You will kill power upstream to your chain. So 4, 3, 2, 1, okay? So we're going to test that now. I'm going to go back to this and see if he can stop me. So information to the brain. Let's see what happens to the hip flexor. Ready, set, go. And there he goes. Do you like that better?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's do it to the other side. Now it has to be a prime number. Remember that. I'm just fucking with you guys again. Everybody's like, oh God. And okay, so now, I've informed his ankle, right? And go. And now he's a fucking bully. So that's what I want to feel.
Which one is stronger?
That one's better now. But now we're going to do his glutes. And then he's going to get up, he's going to walk around, everybody's going to clap, it's going to be great. So, psoases are now better. So now let's test his glutes. So, okay, so the inside of the ankle is basically informing the psoas and the flexors. So adduction, hip flexion, all of these things. If you get a lot of collapse on the inside of the ankle, structurally, you could be jamming that joint. So when you're watching people walk, when you're watching people yoke, and you see the insides of their feet are moving, and everybody's like, oh, you need different shoes, blah, blah, blah. It's probably why some of you love Olympic lifting shoes. It's probably why some of you like no shoes. You're basically informing your feet, particularly at your ankle, what I like best to get strong. And if these don't like what's going on, they are not going to allow those to operate at full capacity just based on safety. So I think for you guys, inside ankle controls hip flexion, outside ankle is going to control the glutes. But there's no sense in doing it if it doesn't need it. And if you do it on both sides, it actually sometimes will cancel it out. So you got to create a little recipe, and you guys can do this very quickly, and I'll inform you. So now his hips are good. Let's see if his butt's good. So I'm going to internally rotate him, right? This leg is locked. His goal is to kick out this way, and I'm going to try to drive him back to the center, okay? Ready, set, go. And not bad. Let's test the other one.
This one's gonna be shit.
Oh, well, you said so. And internally rotate. Internally rotate. There you go. Okay, wait. So do this. Turn this foot like this. So you can't cheat it with this big old quad, right? Ready, and go. And I could break that down right away. So he's a strong guy. I shouldn't be able to do that. So since this one's okay, we're going to fix this one, and then he's going to get up and move around. So the goal is me being able to do that with just my arm should be non-existent for you. So I'm going to work on the outside of his ankle, relax, and basically the outside of the ankle controls the glute.
For those that can't see, you can always walk around the
Yeah.
just doing the opposing movement, just like we were doing earlier with the outside ankle.
And basically, you don't need some dude to do this for you. I'm going to show you how to put a band around the side of a cage and do an ankle tilt. So everybody today is going to find out, am I an inside ankle tilt or am I an outside ankle tilt, right or left? And that's going to be your recipe, fair? And we're going to do the same thing for wrists, and we're going to be able to bench, and we'll be able to squat. So 4, 3, prime number, 2, and relax. Okay, now let's retest, right? And go. And now he's strong, okay? How do you feel about that?
Good.
Yeah. No, I mean, do you?
I'm recruiting for my. I mean, it's my.
Well, hop on up.
I'm trying to fill it in my needs here, but I'm recruiting from here more. I don't know if that's.
Well, I think we're going to have the reason why you're probably not being able to do this because the inhibition there.
Oh, okay.
So walk around and squat, and you tell me if you feel any different.
Yeah, my left's firing much more.
Yeah.
Usually I have an issue firing my left.
So we had a conversation before about his left firing was almost non-existent or minimized, right? And I don't look at that as my glute is the problem. I try to go downstream and find out, do you have a stability issue in an ankle that your brain is making your glute say,
I tore this ankle.
oh, so so everybody's got history, right? And that's what this stuff is meant to do, is to deduce what happened before what happened. And everybody, I want to just go one chapter back to where, oh, I hurt my back here. I'm like, your back pain probably was set up by something prior to. And so that's just going to be an example of how physical interventions can create immediate strength. And then we're going to use eye position to also increase those, and vestibular position to increase those. Fair? But that's a good example of how do you fix somebody very quickly, not touching anything that they want to fix. How to work an opposing joint to kill pain in somewhere that you're having a problem. So this is more of the proprioceptive stuff, but it's immediate. So let's see if we can use you as an example, right? So come on forward.
Well, should have everybody go.
Well, everybody's going to do it with us.
Okay.
So she just wants to try her elbow, and I'm going to explain where everybody's opposite joints are. So on the sheet that Nick's going to print out for you guys, the way all this stuff works, because of how we walk. So you have opposing joints based on your gait cycle. So your shoulders are the opposite of your hip. Your elbows are the opposite of your knees. Your wrists are the opposite of your ankles, fingers, and your toes. And then when we get to the midline, everything in the upper cervical is going to be that sacral and lumbar, and then everything down one comes up one. So what we're going to do is create...
The map in your brain is saying that if it's looking at the map of what my wrist can do and the positions my wrist can do for my right wrist, it's similar to my brain as my left ankle. If it's a right elbow issue, we would attack left knee.
Yeah.
If it's right shoulder, it's left hip. And if there's a cervical issue, you've got to then go into lumbar. Because the brain, that's how it's mapped because of cross-body reflexes when we move through.
And you walk more than you do bicep curls, some of us. So it's important for you to realize that all this tension can be mitigated through better walking, which is super important, but it might be just lying to you. So what about your elbow hurts? And then we'll let everybody do it together.
Well, usually when I'm working on people, it's usually connected to my thumb, to my elbow. And it feels a little bit like tendonitis, but not really sure. So
Okay.
it's internal and on the outside too.
So when you internally rotate, it hurts. And then when you squeeze, it hurts.
Like
Okay.
I can't even lift, even just squeezing like this. So I used to be able
Gotcha.
to lift like a 45 plate, no problem, but I can't.
So we're going to test the theory, and we'll see if it works. So technically speaking, if she carries extra unnecessary tension in this elbow, it could be affecting how that elbow translates as she walks. So you might be favoring it, you might be actually like internally rotating it. So we're going to create a stimulation to your opposite knee to see if it can actually change your elbow.
So the test should probably just be her pulling on the hand just to see. Wait,
What do you want to test your elbow again with?
So right now, if you pick something up, it would hurt?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you right now, if you pull against it, pain?
Yeah.
Okay, so remember, what is the pain number? 10 being the worst?
Like a 2.
Okay, so it was a 2 right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so remember the amount of pressure that you put in my hand? Now go for it, left.
Okay, so
But
that
everybody else should test too.
everybody's going to test whatever they want to test, and then we're going to create the drill for you. So get it in your head what you want to test. I'll demonstrate, and then we're all going to do what we're going to do for each other. Fair? Okay. So she needs an elbow issue. I want you to put your left leg behind you like that, and what I'm going to try to do to her brain is if my elbow hurts, I don't want to move it, right? Because it friggin' hurts. So everybody's like, oh, just work it out. And you're like, well, it hurts every time I move it. So if I move her left knee into circles or figure eights, it will tell her brain that something's actually happening to her elbow just based on the brain knowing how we walk. So what I want to coach you with is you're going to look straight ahead, and the goal of this exercise is for you to bend this knee forward slightly, and then I want you to take a clockwise rotation back to the lockout position. So you're going to make little circles, and I'm going to guide you with my fingers, and I want you to really focus on the lockout for me, okay? When you get to that position, just lock it out, and then unlock it, and take another big circle. So yeah, big circle to lockout. Big circle to lockout.
There you go.
Yeah, big circle to lockout. We're going to do 3 more, and then we're going to switch directions. So giving your brain some segues into how it moves the knee could potentially kill pain in your other elbow. Now go the other way. And the only reason why this works is because it's something in your brainstem that shows you how to kill pain just by going on a walk. That's why going for a walk sometimes fixes almost anything. 2, 1, 1 more, and nice. So now just take a short walk to that gentleman and back, and then we're going to find out if there was any improvement. And then, yeah, now retest with Dave, and you say same, better, worse. Same. Okay. So let's go in the front and try the other side. So go in the front knee. Okay. Well, this would fix it too.
Yeah.
So before you jump right into manual manipulation of something, we have to make sure that it's not coming from a deeper system. 3, 2, and other direction. And we do this because if you get an answer from something like this, it will help you everywhere.
Just go off the feeling. That's it. There you go. It helps remap. What am I experiencing? What am I feeling? Suppose to actually need the visual cue.
1 more. And good. And then short walk, come back, and let's find out. And you want to make sure you're clearing this stuff out, because if it's bothering you all the time, it could be the walk into the gym that's bothering you.
It just hurts all the time.
Yeah.
So that pulls a little harder.
Oh, I was pulling harder?
Just try to pull the same. There you go.
That feels better.
Yeah, so that was about the front.
Okay.
Yeah, so a little bit better?
Yeah.
If it was a 2 before, what is it now?
Like I didn't feel anything.
So it's
that
0.
time.
Okay,
Cool.
so
We got the pain down, but for her, it was back position wasn't the cue. It was actually front, and there's a reason behind it. But for you right now, that's what you would work on. And the
Okay.
cool thing is, if you were about to do circus dumbbell or whatever you would need with that right elbow, you could be doing that right before you get on stage.
So my big, because I work on people,
Okay.
so I do manual therapy on people. So my biggest thing is like small movement. So when I use my thumb a lot, it starts to really kill.
Yeah.
Or if I'm using this right hand a lot, is when it's more smaller movements than big movements.
So imagine what we're gonna, the conversation about why this could be valuable is anything you're doing on the left side of your body intentionally is informing the right side of your brainstem. And you perceive pain from that side of your brainstem down the same side. So by actually moving something over here, you can trick the signal into not giving you the same pain. Now, most people say, well, I want to feel pain if I'm hurt. And I only say you feel pain because your brain is perceiving pain, not because you're actually hurt.
Right.
So what you could do is you could be working on an individual, you start to feel that warming up, and you're like, okay, I'm in trouble. You could easily, this is something I do with most massage therapists, is now you have a knee circle while you're working, and it's already taking care of something that's starting to build. And this is a great opportunity for us before we do everybody is, you have to look at your nervous system as a big bucket. And if your bucket gets full with pain, stress, 2020, you will spill out over your bucket. But high quality proprioceptive movement, good visual inputs, and fuel will keep your bucket below the surface. So everybody has their like, I'm stressed out back, and then everybody has their, I just hurt my back doing something stupid.
Yeah.
But they're both the same up here. So if you create a lot of stress and fill the bucket, it spills over as pain. If you create a lot of chronic stress and the bucket's full, it's probably just gonna hurt because it's an old injury. So for you, I want you to consider that as a way to manipulate your pain through neural inputs rather than just saying, I gotta wrap this thing or this is just my bad hand. So I think, based on what I saw when you were walking, you need to do more work on the left side of your body to keep your brain happy in terms of pain management. Doesn't mean work from the other side of the table, it means do a bunch of knee circles.
Okay.
And that could be an alternative to more ice, more compression, more wrapping, because those are different systems. And they are valuable. We're not here to tell you don't wrap. We're just here to tell you that you might not have to. I want you to externally rotate your right arm. And I want you to take it to the limit of its external rotation, right? So everybody knows where they end up. So if you want more external rotation, what I want you to try is internally rotate your left arm. And then now see if you can drive your right arm back further. Okay? Because that could help. Now, if you want more external rotation on your right shoulder, you can keep this internal rotation here, and you can externally rotate your right hip. And now see if you can drive your arm back further. Okay? So we're getting there, right? Now, you can internally rotate your left hip, and now see if you can drive your arm back further. Now, you could turn your head to the right and see if you could drive your arm back further. Yeah. And relax. Okay. So were you able to get more range of motion out of the external rotation of your shoulder voluntarily? Okay. By manually manipulating opposing joints, you can drive more ability into the joint you're trying to mobilize. And it works in the same exact way internally. Let's do left side. Say left external rotation. Okay, everybody follow along. Take that to your limit, like, oh, I'm pushing. Okay? Now, internally rotate right, and now push again on external lefty. Okay? Now, what I want to do is externally rotate left hip. Now push out lefty. Now internally rotate right hip and push out left extension. Yep.
Add a step.
Okay. Now turn your head to the left and see if you can get even more. Okay? Now look up and left and see if you can go a little further.
Now work on the breath. So it would be
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, everybody relax. Do you realize that other parts of your body can manually increase the range of motion of a particular joint if you know the map? Does everybody see that you can go further, right? Now that's not foam rolling, and that's the difference between passive and active mobilizations. So now test your arms again and just see how they feel without any of the tricks. Did they feel more open? Do they feel more balanced? Or do you feel like you have an increased range of motion? Okay, so that is a neurological mobilization. That's not a ART, that's not a active stretching. It's just use something else to get what you want. And the reason because of it is every time I take a step, this hand and this foot are in front. This elbow and this knee are in front. This shoulder and this hip are working together. So when you learn how to manipulate the other joints, you should be granted immediate access. And that's how I want you to think about this, is you're manually overriding perceived inhibitions. That's how we're going to approach it. So, yeah. So let's do the big six. So basically, everybody pick a stretch they're going to consistently retest. Either forward fold, shoulder, standing twist.
Internal, external rotation of the elbow again.
Actually, you know what? Do a couple squats. Maybe that'll be actually good for everybody. Squat down, see how crappy you feel. There he is. Okay.
So go into a position that you're probably uncomfortable with. That's the one we want to challenge. If it would be like a sissy, or if it would be something like sumo.
Yeah. So, first example. Let's do outside left ankle tilt for 6 repetitions. Slowly outside left ankle tilt.
For this one, guys, you can actually put all your, about 60 to 80% of your weight in your right foot, and you step left knee forward. And what I want you guys to do is consider it like you're opening and closing the book very, very slowly. When you're in this position, think about the heel being pulled across, not the mid-foot. Slowly open and close. And then the trick is, try not to look at it. Keep your head neutral and there you go.
And after 6 to 8, retest your squat. Say same, better, worse.
Same hinge squat.
Yep, yeah, for you, let's do the same. Okay, a little better. So if it was better, we want you to mentally put that in your checklist of that's what we're going to have you guys do.
Okay.
All right? Same thing, opposing side, right leg.
Right ankle tilt. Now some of you're going to be like, if I do this and I get immediately worse, I should probably stop doing it before I do my squats and maybe focus on one side of your mobilizations, because that could actually be important. And that's what we'll figure that out for each person. You might end up doing half the work.
Or you might be only doing one side.
And once you do 6 to 8, give it a shot.
Squat.
Feel like Corona's lighting up or no?
You can, yeah.
Same bit of work for you.
Okay, yeah. So what I want you to consider too is base it off your last test. So if you tested well from left side, but then you actually feel tighter from right side, use your last test's results as your same, better, worse, okay? Not like better than this morning, like better than a test ago. But was there a change for you on that?
Yes.
Okay, better or worse?
Better.
Okay.
So both of them better for
So
you.
both of them better for you. So
It's only half of the way that we want to use for this position.
Yeah.
So now we do the opposing side. So what we're going to do is we're going to step our left foot out, bend the left knee, and then what we're going to do with our right leg block, we're going to just slowly bring the right ankle
this is you.
in, and you're going to pull from the heel.
Yeah, that's hard.
Try not to let the knee be the movement.
Yeah.
It's all from that ankle. And if you need a little bit more weight in lefty to give it the righty offload, you're more than welcome. Lean into lefty a little more.
So for some of you strength athletes, these are going to be banded. These are going to be under some load.
And a lot of times for our strength athletes, we don't see a difference until we get some force behind it, because you're so used to getting force that the brain is like, I'm not paying attention to this.
And test.
Down your left leg when you lean over.
You can lean over a little bit.
Put it more in squat or more.
What's that? Squat, yeah.
The ankle is neutral, that's all we really care about. But it could,
Okay.
depending on how you're firing it.
Who got better?
Just playing around with.
You got better? Okay. Better. Okay. So now it's House of Ankles.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to call it House of Ankles. So now, do your left side.
Got the strongest ankles in this.
Yeah. But now realize, based on what I said before, you're activating the deep flexors, the psoas, some of the adduction, which could help you be pulled into your squat.
Right. Definitely.
Like you have to think, the depth of your squat is an act of flexion. I have my hips flexing me towards the ground. I'm being pulled to the floor, not just being allowed to go down.
All right, other side, how's everybody doing? Same, better, worse?
What's that?
Need a sample.
Oh.
Oh, here, sure. Yeah. Hold it on the inside there, Dylan.
Great glutes. Great glutes.
How did everybody do with the left side?
All right, who here was no change? Okay, 3 people right here, 3 people, no change. So,
Okay. Well, no. But the cool part is it's probably not enough load for you being as strong as you are.
so let's do sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
So, anybody have Olympic lifting shoes on right now? Good. Okay, because this wouldn't really work for you.
So another lower extremity one that's very powerful is called a toe pull. So basically, not an inside ankle tilt, not an outside ankle tilt. We're going to do a center toe pull, which is just basically you bending the tops of your toes down. So if you're extremely tight or if this is painful, you can also do this onto your gym bag, or you could do this onto a softer surface.
Sandbag or
So in your instance, right? So the goal would be like, if I was with an athlete and I wanted to see that be done productively, let's have you do it to this. So the athlete's going to place the top of his foot down, and the goal is not to drive super hard. It's just to get the top of the foot to mobilize slightly. So just think light little cat punches into the top of this pad.
So it's a very, very
Very slow.
All he's doing
Yep.
is just bending this left knee just slightly. And imagine
So you feel that stretch? Okay. And relax and test.
And you guys, you're not going to change the test.
Good?
Let's
Okay.
change up the test. So,
I like that one.
how'd you do with that one?
Okay. Let's try. Yeah.
To change up the test for you guys, let's start doing let's do a forward fold. So we'll do forward fold.
So the top of your feet, 26 joints in there. If one of them's jammed up, might shut you down a little bit. So it's not about foot fetish nation. It's about mobilizing the top of your foot. It's about moving your ankles around and getting some good inputs to the brain. So now imagine if that's happening 25,000 times a minute, where your brain is texting the top of your foot saying, what's going on down there? And your top of your foot's like this, stonewalling your brain. So your brain goes, all right, I'm going to call him. How about some pain? I'm going to call him. How about some immobility? And then nothing, nothing, nothing. And then the brain goes, all right, you know what? Everybody, we're done with the foot. And it kills the psoas, it kills the glute medius, it kills the adductor. And he's like, none of you, you're shut out, you're shunned. So communication, this is texting back. This is an immediate email to your brain going, oh, no, I'm fine, we're good. And then the brain goes, oh, sorry, foot, I didn't mean to overreact. Now you could squat. Sorry, I didn't mean to fuck with you, okay? Right. So that's how you want to start thinking about these joint mobilizations is, do I even know where my elbow is? And if I do, if the only relationship you have with your elbow is when it hurts, that's a bad relationship. If the only relationship you have with your foot is, what can I do if I've never ever done this? And your brain goes, oh shit, there's our foot, we could squat now. Right. So some of these pains or some of these like, oh, I hiccup right here, is just your brain going, foot, are you on? And the foot's like, smoking a cigarette outside, doesn't know what's going on. So we're gonna just do this. Now, let's get into the bigger systems and let's start doing the hips. It's not that complicated. We don't have to drive a lot of tension. It could just be circles or figure eights. Okay? So I want you to do a couple circles with your hip, and I don't want you to like whip it out there. I want you to actually articulate it. Like understand that your hip can move outside the confines of a heavy ass deadlift, Bulgarian split squat, or a lunge.
All right.
So now, test your hips. Just try the one side, because you know what?
If you do both, then you won't know which side is necessary.
Yeah, and the whole point is, I know this seems like a lot of testing, but I want to get to the truth, because if you come in here and you spend 20 minutes on that roller, and 20 minutes on the Theragun, and 20 minutes doing internal, external rotation, and all this other stuff, you might be starting right back where you began by the time you're done using all that energy. So
It also could make you better.
yeah, a future program could come in and say, okay, righties, lefties, move my neck, let's go. And then start figuring it out because these are all not going to shut you down during training. You could do a set of heavy deadlifts and then do this as your superset. And then each set you are back to set number 1 as far as capacity.
Right, right.
So test your other hip and then squat.
On the front side,
Yeah, my right.
take your right arm, bring it across your body, flex your pec. Now test. Now bring it back behind you. So bring arm back behind
So how are you tested on the hips? Good or bad? Good. Anybody bad? Casey's bad. No, Casey's not bad. Same. Okay, so we're gonna do the eye stuff for you. It's gonna be better. So everybody got both hips tested? Now we're gonna do the shoulders and then we're gonna move on. So everybody's gonna bring their fist out in front of them. I want you to cross your midline a little bit, like you're holding a beer, and I want you to draw an 8 in front of you with your shoulder. Now the 8's a little more, the 8 makes you pay attention because everybody else just does circles and they're like, all right, let's get the hell out of here. So I want you to do 8 in one direction and then 8 in the other direction, and then I want you to try to squat. And then we're gonna do the other arm, and then we're gonna start spot checking everybody. We're gonna start lifting some weights. But this is the prep. This is how you get ready to lift.
And right leg.
Yeah. And then do your other stuff. But now address if that was good or bad. Make a mental note, and then retest. And if anything's not good, Dave and I are going to actually work with each of you individually, so it's okay. How does everybody feel about that?
Feel warm.
Yeah. Change? Any better? Any worse? Better? Same?
Any no change.
Same as good? What was that? Same. Same? Okay. Good. So compared to when we began, improvement without load.
Yeah.
So the idea is improvement without load and creating sensations. So your vision is super important to your ability to create depth perception and very important to your ability to create strength. So I'm going to use you as an example. So we're going to do eye reflexes and then we're going to do gaze fixations. So here's the game. He's going to come up. Now, big cat, right? Now I'm going to test his elbow flexion. So the name of the game is going to be, and Dave's going to be behind me with this little letter pencil. So I'm going to give him something specific. Because if you have something to look at, it actually helps. And I have a bunch of stickers for all of you. You're going to love them. So here's the game. I'm going to fight him in a standing arm wrestling match, okay? So he can put his hand on mine. Now the game is, don't let him stare at anything yet. Straight test, normal. You're going to engage me. I'm going to try to break you down, okay?
Gotcha.
Ready?
Towards myself?
Yep. Ready, set, go. Now he's strong, very strong, okay? Now, let's see if I can make him even stronger. So he's gonna look down with his eyes down here, which is going to increase his flexion, which should make this be better, right? And go. And there he goes, right? Would you say that was a little better?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna have him hold his eyes up in extension, and I wanna see how he does now. Not so good. And relax.
Can you feel the difference on that?
It's like a leverage, you know, like I'm able to,
So,
as soon as I look down.
yeah. So think about it this way. If you're looking in the wrong direction, it could actually fire things reciprocally wrong.
Right.
So eyes up equals extension. So it means his tricep was firing, which was reciprocally inhibiting his bicep.
Got it.
So that's a way for you to test people and say, hey, looking matters. So which would you rather do if we were going to go into an arm wrestling competition?
Down.
Look down. Because down is flexion, the act is flexion.
Right.
Now, what else is flexion? Touching your toes or getting low. So now it also works with your eyes going in and out. So what I want you to do is I'm going to have you bring that closer to him,
Yeah.
Right.
We should have
and I want to see, yeah, what's up?
Yeah, everybody good. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So here's the game. Everybody stand up and test your forward flexion, like your toe touch, right? Okay, everybody feels where they're at or where they're not at. And relax, okay? and then we're going to do just a straight gaze fixation. So stick your right hand out and stare directly at your thumbnail for 10 seconds and try to really own it, okay? Right in the center, staring right at it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then relax. Now retest. Okay, so some of you got more. That hurt you.
I've got them, yeah.
Okay, so, but that was worse than not doing it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you felt like it slowed you down. So this is a good opportunity to try to fix something. So the eyes got you worse. Let's see if looking down helps you. So we're gonna retest you again. So head straight, and then can you see that K? Okay, I'm gonna put it here. Is that all right? Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then retest. No bias. Better, okay? So your eyes can influence your movement, is what I mean to say. So something about staring in front of you is bothersome. It creates threat, which prevents you from moving forward. So what I'd like you to try is if you want to, if it's more voluntary for you, hold this with your hands, and then just fixate on the K, right? And then just let the K lead you down, and then keep your eyes down. And you see how it stops you, right? Yeah, try to go down.
Okay.
Feel better?
Yeah.
Yeah. So having a fixed target can create innate calm through the body and can grant you range of motion. So I want you to think your eyes are very important in regards to how you move. So now I want everybody to test again in the down position. So head straight, eyes are straight ahead. You're going to pull it to the down, but don't tuck your chin. Just look down. See if you're all looking at your phone, but just keep a head straight, eyes down. 10 seconds, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then relax. Retest your forward fold. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a lot better, right? Okay. So that's what I mean by flexion is important, because this isn't about hamstring tension. This is about overcoming hamstring tension with flexion. You need to flex forward. So what happens is if you don't have a target, your brain is kind of not paying attention to it, and the simple act of you bringing your head forward threatens you enough to feel back pain. Now, what I also noticed with this gentleman, what's your name? Sorry.
Brandon.
Chris, nice to meet you. What I also noticed with this gentleman is he can't tuck his chin when he's going down because something is threatening his inner ear. So while we're on the topic, here's the game we're going to try, right? You got your gaze fixation in front of you, and everybody watch me first. This is the other thing, and this is what we'll get to in the individual stuff. But you stare at your thumb, right? I want you to try to keep your eyes on your thumb, and I want you to tuck your chin 6 to 8 times very slowly while keeping your eyes on your thumb. So I'll work with you. So yep, right here, and then tuck your chin, but keep your eyes here. And then back up, tuck your chin, eyes up, tuck your chin, eyes up, tuck your chin, eyes up. One more, tuck your chin, eyes up. Okay, now let's find out if it works.
I can get down for it.
There you go.
I stood up without killing.
But increase range of motion, right? Okay, so cool, right? Now that's what your inner ear does with your eyes. It grants you more balance. So when you see people do this, right, they go to touch their toes and they go like this, and they don't want their head to go down too, that tells me their inner ear is just not playing along. And what should you be able to do down there when your primary goal is to extend? So how good should I be at a kettlebell swing if I can't tuck my chin? And we all know this person, right? You need to be able to stay packed, and you need to be able to perform in that aspect. So visual cueing, crazy important. Vestibular management, equally important for you to get to a range of motion. So I don't think your back is being driven by your vision. So we're going to work on your vision to create more function. Now, because we're having fun, let's do 2 things. Take your right hand. You're going to look at your thumb, right? I want you to just bring it in, looking at it, and then just keep your eyes on it as you bring it away from you. So this is what I would consider a pencil push-up or a thumb push-up, and just worry about staying on target. Don't look at anything else.
I did this in baseball.
Yeah, this is why you are strong. Has nothing to do with your work ethic. And do about 8 to 10 reps, and then try your forward fold or your squat, anything you want. Yeah. So your body will remember.
We would do one where you look at a sign in the back, and then look at like a mole on your hand or something, and go back.
Looks good. Okay, so did people get better from that? Was that easier? Everybody, feedback? Better? No? Same? Same? Better, better. Okay, the reason why that could work, part of your apprehension to going to the ground is the ground is coming at you too. So if you actually can't perceive the depth between your face and the floor, your brain might pull back on the reins, and your reins are your hamstrings and your lumbars. So I gotta find out what's going on in the knee. Same, better, worse?
That was worse.
Worse, right? So he's threatened visually by something. So do your triceps again, and let's retest. So it's telling me that your eyes don't like going down for some reason. So you could walk forward without pain, without instability, but the acts of going through a vertical plane bother you.
Right.
So let's decide whether or not it's just you not liking up and down as much as you don't like your knee. And relax, okay? Test, I just want to see, because I don't want this to be like a John Edwards shit where I'm prompting you. But that's better, right? Okay, so you can always get it back. It's immediate. Now, let's try this. Hunker down a little, and then just bounce up and down on your calves while staring at that K. So like, just be like this, yeah. So I'm making his brain go up and down in his inner ear, and relax. I want to see if this threatens him or gives him performance. Feel better?
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're prepaying the threats, right? If I think of my knee as only a structural object that can only bend and relax, right? I'm not thinking about what my head is doing too. So your head is going through space, which your inner ear perceives as, okay guys, elevator down, elevator up, acceleration, backwards. So part of your relationship with the knee is you weren't squatting on it for a little while. So you weren't getting the up and down. So your inner ear starts to get a little deficient, and then everything I associate with it without my good strong leg next to it is fear. So inhibition is pain, not damage. So we can modulate that. Now in a cool world, we'd be here, crank him out, and then he would have a visual target to focus on, but we can also just make him do this as a little move, and then you don't have to think at all. So we got cranking up there, and then relax, and then just give me a couple of these while staring. And then go. Yeah. So what you're trying to do is you have to find pain-free repetitions or more solid repetitions in order to get what we want. And there's a lot of pathways in there. So for you, opposite joint could be a valuable tool for you, but if you do both, you might end up worse. So I would say left elbows and a little bit of vision work as you descend, and it could end up being something like this for you, where it's very safe, right? Where we load it. But I don't want to say we're doing hamstring curls for 2 years until you can do that. I want to do this and face it and say, how do I make it good instead of shitty? So that's how we're going to approach things here now, is like work through it with other helpers. Cool? Yeah, and then we'll do more. Well, we got some people who are competing, right?
Yeah, so they have the choice of 3 events based off of what they want to sharpen up.
Well, we can do a deadlift, we can do a moving drill, and we can do a thoracic extension.
Okay.
So what about the deadlift is the concern?
Off the ground, mainly.
As far as the strength efficiency, well, she's inconsistent with the pull. So
Okay.
she can pull for a PR, then the next week it doesn't leave the floor. Okay.
So this is about finding out if you're actually looking with both of your eyes.
Got it.
So I use this because it's cheap and everything else is like fuck crazy expensive and dumb. So I'm very Kmart when it comes to this shit because nobody needs to be spending more money. So here's the game. I'll use you as an example. Can you, actually, you'll be a good example too. So if you hold this, can you make a third dot in the middle by trying to bring your own eyes together?
No.
No.
Like.
Got it?
Yeah.
So make the third, so cross your eyes, make the third dot. Can you get it?
I got 2 in the middle.
Okay, you got 2 in the middle.
Yeah.
All right. So
Hold on, let me concentrate.
now, come here. So, no, do it. No, I swear to God, do it. I'll show you how to do it, right? So, watch this left.
All right, there, got it.
You got it?
Trip.
Okay. Got it, right?
I'm not even high, and this is awesome.
And bring it in a little.
Hard to keep them together, y'all.
Keep that third dot. Come on.
I got you, little fucker.
Yep. And back it up.
Oh, whoa!
Okay.
Fucking trip. That was crazy.
Test your squat. Test your squat.
I felt great.
So here's the deal, Case.
Yeah.
Your left eye was not contributing at all
Right.
in the beginning. So your right eye was the only thing looking at it, right?
They're looking at the snacks, you know?
Well, no, it's just called suppression. So you might, it's the lights are on, nobody's home.
Gotcha.
So this is a cheap trick. So let's try you. So I want to see, can you, and so this is how this works. Right eye is looking across, left eye is looking across. There should be an optical illusion in the middle. So if you hold this and you try to cross your eyes intentionally, can you make a third dot appear? No, okay? So try this. Bring your left finger up. Look at your finger. Now, does a third dot show up in the background when you look at your finger?
It just moves the dots.
It just moves them left and right. Okay, so relax. It shows you that you're not looking with both your eyes. So we should be able to make a dot. You try. Hold it and cross, hold it out. See if you can make a third dot by crossing your eyes a little bit. Okay, now hold your finger up, stare right at your finger, only concentrate on your finger. Do you notice a third dot in the background while you're looking at your finger?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, now just don't look at it, just look at your finger, just observe the third dot.
All right.
Got it? So now there's 3 dots.
Okay, now, that's it.
Own the 3 dots and relax. Now try something. Anything you want. Squat, toe touch, anything. Cool, right? Okay, so let's upregulate you. So they move back and forth, or you're getting...
The right, they just move back and forth.
So they move inward, but they don't become a third.
Not at all.
Okay, do this for me. Stand straight. Try to, actually stand behind him. Okay. I need you to try to twist him from side to side. So you're gonna be steady, right? Yeah, so hold this out. He's gonna try to turn you, like try to twist him like an ice cube tray. Don't let him win. Okay, so try to twist him. Does that help?
No.
Okay, twist him the other way. Don't let him win. You fight him.
You're so fucking strong, Al. I can't.
Okay. Okay. So that's okay. So here's what we're gonna focus on. Cover your left eye. And can you hold that? Now, can you just cover this dot and then just move this in to there and hold? Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. Move it back and forth a little bit. So we're just gonna warm up one eye. Okay. Now switch eyes, switch hands. Is that harder?
No.
Okay, good. Move it in and out. Okay, now uncover. Hold this with your right hand. Hold it out. Stare at this finger.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Now just hang on to it.
Oh, man.
It's hard. I know it's hard.
It stays in the middle for a second, but then it just kind of floats.
But 1 second further, right? And
I can bring it back.
good, bring it back. Own it.
Okay.
And now relax. You are now seeing with both eyes. So we need to create a visual target while performing a figure 8 pattern. So the name of the game is going to be, let's say, what's up? No, I need 2 foam rollers or two things to walk around. So this is something that I think will help you extremely. This is going to help every athlete, without question. So this is an infinity walk.
Okay.
This covers all the vestibular function and all the visual function.
Got it.
Having a visual target that you stay on while your head moves through space is what's going to give you all of these canals that we're going to test. So like you see that one test where it's like, okay, can you do this? See how my eyes stay on my thumb no matter where my head goes? Lots of people can't do that. Just like half of you couldn't see the 3rd dot, right? So every time you turn your head, you actually go blind for a second. And then when you go blind for a second in your brain goes freeze. Don't fucking move. That's why some baseball players are really great here. And then I ask them to turn and catch something like this and they get like startled by it. So what I want you to do is we're gonna do an infinity walk, which is you're gonna have to try to maintain visual confirmation on this dot while you navigate this path. So it's a figure 8, which is gonna hit every canal. And if we have a high, medium, and low target, we're gonna hit everything. So in the strength world, we're probably gonna be somewhere in that lower vicinity. We're not running with our eyes on the ceiling, so we'll just keep it neutral. All you have to do is do not lose this dot. And if you lose it, who gives a shit? If you knock over a foam roller, who gives a shit? But you can't look for these. That's the game, right? You have to trust your instincts, you gotta use your peripheral vision. So here's how it's gonna work. I'm staring at the blue dot. The blue dot owes me money, and I cannot lose my visual confirmation on the blue dot no matter what. Now, I know these are here, but I cannot look for them. So I need to keep my eyes on a target, and right now you'll notice my eyes are pulled to the left side of my visual field. Now my eyes are pulled to the right side of my visual field as I move through space. So I'm getting acceleration and vestibular calibration. You just squatted before, so you know how you feel. Let's see if you can do this. This is post-brain trauma recovery into high-level athletics. But when you don't have multiple traumatic brain injuries, you immediately can be stronger. If you do have multiple brain injuries, you need to do it a lot. That's how I need you to think about it, okay? Start on this side. And then you're gonna work your way around, but don't look for it. The worst thing that happens, you knock a fucking roller over. All right, keep your eyes there. There we go. So what I'm observing as the coach, right? You come around, Nick. So what I'm observing as the coach is, do I have smooth gait, right? Are they sneaking peeks at the implements? Which he's not. You're doing awesome, okay? But what I'm getting is, I'm getting a gait cycle. Oh, see? Now, but that's a perfect example. This shit looks super easy. This is a very difficult exercise. Take a deep breath, try 2 more rounds, okay? I know this sucks, but this could be the key to your back pain. And that's why I want you to do it, because it's important. So what you'll notice is people might have a proclivity to really hating one direction, either through a visual blind spot or a vestibular deficit. Go 1 more, you're doing great. Now this is a tool, but this tool could be loaded with heavy ass dumbbells, a Husafel, a fucking Farmer's. And, okay, now that's not a fail to me. That was great, okay? Now take a normal walk down. And what we just did is we calibrated his vestibular function, and then I have a different assessment for somebody like him. But how does it feel to walk now? Good, okay. Now let's retest something that you tested before, and you just tell me same, better, or worse. Difficult.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this is a rehabilitation exercise for you that is challenging. Now, you had to look down. Try to look up. Yep, I got you. So now I'm going to challenge different systems. Oh, so start on the inside, sorry, start on the inside. So you're closer to me.
Okay.
So eyes up here and make the figure 8. So now I'm challenging my athlete, my baseball athlete, my outfielder, in an upper visual field. Yeah. Yep. So I'm challenging my athlete in an upper visual field, which is creating extension while they move, but it's also challenging him in a different vestibular function. Now you're a taller cat. This might actually be more comfortable, but it might suck. But something like this, even if it sucks, we got to get good at. There's a couple things I won't let people get away with, and this is one of them. And relax, and then just cut it down normal, like walk to the end. So what you're hoping to improve is their comfort in their gait cycle by creating a lot of vestibular input based on purposeful visual looking. Doesn't hurt, right? Try your move. And no matter what happens, if we're not testing, we're fucking guessing. It's better. Okay. So you can foam roll, but I really think you're going to see a lot of kids and a lot of athletes get very good from just this. Because, and here's the fun part, your vestibular system, for all you strength athletes, controls the proximal extensor tone of your shoulder and your hip. So if you have a hard time with rear delt shit, or you have a hard time with glute extension, we can test it. So now, let's use that as an example. So let's use you, just for strength purposes, right? So say I want to test his rear delt, and I got to find out if it's good or not, or if I got to test this glute, right? So it's good for you anyway. We need this glute, this hip. So drive back into me, and I'm going to try to shove you forward with this, right? But you're strong, so ready, set, go. Now he's got it, okay? But let's see if I can get it better. But you feel the effort with that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we're going to do just the left vestibular, and then I can let him do this, and he'll get better. But he's going to stare at this dot. Now, he's going to stare at the dot, and he's going to turn his head to the left 6 times without losing this dot. Ooh.
Ah, shit.
That's 1 rep. Couldn't do it. So own it, right?
Yeah.
Come on. 1, 2, go slow, 3, 4, 5, 1 more, 6. Okay, you did it, right? It's not easy though, right? Okay, now test your arm. And now he's a fucking stud, right? Now, you were a fighter, right?
Yeah.
Orthodox and football. So you'll notice people can't, like if I say people stare at your finger and they go like this, that's a disconnection between when your head moves and your eyes move. What do you think's happening when your head's moving and you're carrying something? It means your eyes are fucking shooting all over the place, and every time your eyes go one direction, that's all the extension on one side of your body. Every time your eyes go the other direction, that's all the extension on the other side of the body, and you notice why people do this, and then it's this, and then it's this. So rip through this. Come on, there's no escaping this shit. Like that, and because it's either, we fix this, or we foam roll for the rest of your fucking life and you hit peaks and you stop. All right, or you change sports. And how many times has somebody said, I don't do this anymore? Or how many strongmen end up just going to grip? Like it's like, oh, I'm a professional strongman. Now I'm fucking deadlift only. Now I'm fucking arm wrestling. Now I'm grip. Now I'm a coach. And that's it. Like that's the de-evolution of shit, right? Okay, so let's get it back. Ready? Start on the inside. Sorry. So inside. There's a second one that I'll give you for the more gnarly people, but this shit is not easy. And I got to get you guys back to a couple of inner ear basics because it's going to unlock some shit for you that has been locked for a long time, unbeknownst to you. Now, good. Now, when I want to talk trash to my athletes, right? I say, don't get the whole stick out of your ass, get the whole log cabin out of your ass. Walk like you mean it. Like, yeah, there you go. Yeah, well, you look like a deleted scene from Mrs. Doubtfire. Let's fucking go. Oh, don't look away, come on. Now, this is what I want to see. Fluid movement with visual confirmation. Now he's fucking got it, right? 2 more. Now, you guys need load, or you need dumbbells in your hands, or you need a weighted fucking vest. And relax, okay? Go down and back. But this shit is, you're playing with fire, but it's worth it because if this fucks with you, everything will. So let's just get it out of the way. How does that feel? Yeah, let's test your, try squat, let's test your proximal extension. So all I just did is turn on both ass cheeks. Yeah. It's just about balance from the inside. And balance is strength. If you don't have a bias to one side, you're not pushing off your right leg harder. So let's test that rear delt. So, and go. Yeah, dude, he's got me all fucking day now.
So working on the deadlift, we're gonna try to concentrate on seeing what the athlete is interpreting as far as how they're moving through the position. And so we're gonna do a forward fold to test. We're having an athlete with a little bit of a back issue. There's some tightness back there. So what we're gonna do is just do a forward fold. We're gonna come down, and we're gonna come back up, okay? Then we're gonna watch the athlete walk, take a walk. While they're walking, we're just gonna take a look at the way they move. All right, come on back. And making sure everybody's moving together. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna test how they're moving from one side to the other. So right hand on top of left. Now I want you to just rotate as quick as you can. And now lefty. So we're testing how the body is actually interpreting the information and see how fast it can go. And good. Interesting that actually lefty is a little bit slower, but we're still gonna play with it, okay? So now we're gonna take your right hand, do an infinity drill around my hands by going on the outside. And because these athletes need load, we're gonna play with them a little bit. Try to go a little bit faster. There you go, nice, speeding through. It's like operation. If you hit my hand, I make a terrible noise. My nose lights up, it's terrible. Don't do it, and good. Okay, take a walk. Watch the walk, then we'll come back. And we reassess, forward fold, and we're better. So that would apply before the athlete were to pick up the barbell and get ready for their deadlift, even in competition or in practice. That would help them increase the signal on depth and range of motion, but it also could help with performance. Okay, number on pain? 0. Okay, so what is it, 0 before? Or is that after all the drills we did, do you think it's now 0? Or are you not gonna feel it until 4s, the 450s?
So before I was feeling tightness.
So no tightness now. Okay, we're gonna go up a little bit more if you're okay with it. Pay attention to how this feels. And go. All right, how'd that feel? Any apprehension there?
A little tightness in my left.
Left glute. Okay, so I noticed it too. It was a little bit slower. So let's do a coordination drill. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do similar to the right side, because we're finding that his right cerebellum is getting a lot of good info by doing some right-sided stuff. So we're going to take his right hand and he's going to come match my finger and come poke fingers, and then I'm going to move and he's going to try to meet me in a bunch of different directions. Accuracy is more important than the speed. Speed's also important. And then you play with how they interpret the information on the insides and the outsides. If he's way better on the middle, then we start working on the inside. If he's not as good on the outside, we stay there. But he's pretty good. All right, let's see. Same better, worse. Yeah, I could see it was faster. I'm sure the camera's gonna be able to see it was faster, but no apprehension on left side. So right-sided, loading that up. Now, let's see if we can make it even better. Where is your eye position when you're usually pulling?
Like halfway between here and the bar.
Are you staring there the whole time? Okay, so I wanna just do a little bit of a drill to see where you're at and if we can make it better or worse, or if you're already in the best position, because you could be. So let's go a little bit closer. Let's get one pull there and see where you're at. And back down. How did that feel in comparison?
Good.
Did it feel better, same, worse? Good. So you like down a little bit more. Then that helps. So just changing the eye position and making the athlete test to understand if they're better in the position. If they've been looking out 5 feet for the last 15 years of deadlifting and a 2-foot radius makes a difference, well then so be it, let's add it to the program.
Hey guys, I'm Nick Romero from House of Power. Brought these two guys to help us along. Our team is getting ready for a show next weekend. We want to give them a couple tips and tricks that are going to enable them to get rid of a lot of the inhibition that they have in regards to their performance. And so obviously you never go into a show feeling the best that you can, but we can mitigate a lot of the pain that's naturally occurring throughout the stress accommodation that we accumulate these last 12 weeks. And these guys are here to get our guys in the tip-top shape. S10 Fitness drove up here today, and we're very grateful to have them with us.
Happy to come up from San Diego to visit House of Power. Had a great time with these athletes. Working with some of the higher echelon people in this world, in this sport, is a really big treat for us, especially when you start putting in some simple little fixes that make a big impact right away. So happy to do it, and we'll be up again.
I just like being able to be added to an already solid program. Everybody here today was great, and we saw some good results, and hopefully they all do fantastic next week and for all the weeks following.
Yeah,
That's right. Medals to follow next week.
sounds good.
Good
Thanks,
luck,
everybody.
guys.
Bye.